You know, I had a TED Talk back in the day, and I talked about the mindset of a buffalo compared to a cow. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard that. Has anybody ever heard the difference between a cow and a buffalo in their mindset? A cow sees a storm. It's raining, it's hailing, it's lightning. Cow sees it, cow decides to run the other way. Now think of that storm as anxiety, as fear, as depression, as insecurity, all those things that haunt us every day. Nobody's immune to that. Everybody has their own shit. That's a fact. Everybody. Nobody's immune. Everybody's got some insecurity. Everyone's got some fear. Everyone's got anxiety. Everyone feels the failure. If you haven't failed, you're lying to yourself. You have failed before. But what do you do with that? The cow runs from it. A buffalo decides, you know what? I'm going to run through it. I'm going to run through that anxiety in life. I'm going to challenge myself to not have fear. I'm going to put myself in that position to build confidence and not be insecure. I'm going to put myself in that position to bet on me and not worry about the end result. Because either way, I'm going to either fail forward and get knowledgeable, or I'm going to get the success that I want. And it gets through that storm faster. It goes through that battle and gets that blessing quicker. Because every battle, we've all been through them. You're all still here. You've survived it. You learned something from it. You've gotten better from it. Now, God knows I'm like, holy crap, losing $1 billion business, it costing me $400 million. I don't know what the hell is supposed to come out of that. But I will tell you I'm better for it. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better business owner. I got a lot of big things I'm doing. And so there's a reason for everything. And so I had this buffalo mindset that I would always teach people, that I would mentor people, and I'd coach people. You got to have this buffalo mindset. But when I got over the 90 days of insecurity, where do I go? I got in my car and I'm like, I don't even have an office to go to. What do I do? Like, it was sad. I didn't even know what depression was. I mean, my wife's had depression, my daughter, like everyone I know has had depression, and maybe I had it, but I've never realized what depression was until after I lost the company. Anybody that's lost a business, it feels, I would assume, like losing a child. This is something you built with your blood, your sweat, your time, sleepless nights, putting everything on your shoulders. This is who you are. This is what you've sacrificed your time with your family for, is to build this company. So to watch it evaporate, you have identity issues, you get depression. And I tell myself, Jayson, you gotta be a buffalo. What the fuck are you doing? Come on, like, don't be weak. Get through this. Don't cry. Trust me, I wanted to cry. I always said, I don't like to show I cry, but I cry. Don't be down. Don't doubt myself. Let's get to the next level. So what did I do? I started mapping out. Here's the next business. My man Dan reaches out to me out of the blue. You know, he's been on my podcast before. We've been friends. And he's like, Jayson, what happened? And I told him. He's like, you've got a gift. You should coach people. You should teach business owners and entrepreneurs how to scale their business, especially in the home services. You should teach them on how to do digital marketing and ROAS and how to scale, open up new markets. Because we had 57 locations in 27 cities, and 17 states, and it was cookie cutter. And I've done that in all the companies. Like, you just become, it's a system. Like, you think? Because I'm hardcore. Like, I'm all in. Like, let's go. And he's like, yes. So I started to flirt with coaching a bit. And you know what? It felt good. It felt good to be able to help another business out to succeed. It was like watching my kid throw a touchdown. He throws a lot of touchdowns. It felt really good. Like, wow. This is fulfilling. This is exciting. So I started doing coaching. And, still building that company. And then I kind of felt stagnant. I felt, what do I do now? When you're running a company, 2,400 employees, you got 6 executives that report to you and 45 directors. You get bored. You're sitting around like, I don't have enough shit to do. So I started another podcast. Still, it's only 2 hours a week. I don't have enough stuff to do. I'm struggling here. I have this buffalo mindset. What do I do now? Well, that's when you got to become the storm. That's when you got to disrupt things going on. That's when you got to think outside of the box of what you're going to do next in life to challenge yourself. I started coaching my son's football team. I started looking at different companies. I have a passion to make a dent in the world. And I love floors, and we're doing really great at it. And I don't have to be the face, and I don't have to do the day-to-day. I just have to kind of meet with the executives and keep them aligned, help with the digital ROAS and continue to scale. And now we're in 2 states, we're the largest in 1 state and growing. It's exciting, but it's also boring. You went from solar, which was so complex, to floors. Like, hey, how many floors? Great, let's do it. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Okay? I ain't knocking it, but I need more. I gotta be challenged. So I became the storm, and I started challenging myself to look at business opportunities and take things and try to better myself each way I can in life. And I started to take the failure I got because I was embarrassed. The news stuff out there would say, oh, he's like the Wolf of Wall Street, Lamborghinis, and this. They don't realize I had 3 successful companies, did some real estate. Oh, no. They look at this asshole on this Lamborghini with the blonde hair on all the TV commercials, and the company closes. And I was an easy target for fake news. And I had people I thought were my friends, they were just acquaintances, disappear. I told you, people talking to my kids the wrong way, like just this perception. And that's when I said, you know what? I got to turn this failure to fuel. I got to own my part. I was the CEO. I should have done more due diligence on Generac. I took their word for it during the process. They were a $12 billion company. I stood around and I took their word for it, and I should have been better than that. I wasn't. I should have had redundancy. I should have had other opportunities. We had different panel companies. We had different finance companies. Damn it, we should have had different inverter company and battery company. We should have had the one we had before we left them as a backup. I didn't. I allowed the PR team and legal team to not let me be a voice when this started to happen. When the customers, we went from 800 phone calls in 1 month, 800 phone calls, existing customers, potential customers, to 30,000. Obviously there's a failure, that this doesn't happen. And I learned a lot out of that. And I said, I've got to turn this failure to fuel. I've got to do other things in life. I can't allow this to dictate my life. I can't allow this to control the things I want to be in life. I've got 4 kids that look to me to succeed. They don't want to see me lay down in the mud and quit. I don't want to be that person that built $1 billion company and has to talk about his past all the time. Damn it, I want to be the one that's present with $1 billion company now. That was my plan. I'm not doing it. I'm not that person. I'm not quitting. I'm not allowing that company to take everything. They didn't take my mind. They don't take my soul. They don't take my hunger. They don't take my drive. They don't take my work ethic. No, they can have the company. They can have the brand. I'll regurgitate the brand. The cream rises to the top. If you always do good things happen. I will take this failure and I will turn it into fuel to kick ass again. And that's what I started to do slowly but surely. And I get this work mentality. I get this attitude. Kind of from my parents, but I wouldn't say, most people go, all right, because I came from nothing. Like my parents, my dad worked at AT&T making Corning fiber, like at a Corning plant, and my mom worked at a grocery store decorating cakes. And I thought that was normal. And then we lived in Arizona, and my dad, they're closing the plant, has an opportunity to stay in Arizona, and has a friend who owns video stores when video stores were cool. Everybody remembers Blockbuster, and they're really cool in the 90s. Yeah. My dad's friend owned 30 of them and was like, Bill, let me open you a sub shop, and Sherry, who's my mom, a bakery. And those smells can go into the video store. So when they come in on Tuesdays to get those movies, they can smell the cookies, they can smell the sub. It's a home run. I remember being 14 years old, eavesdropping on my parents having this conversation. My dad had opportunity. And he told my mom, no, I've got 2 kids. This is my brother and sister he's talking about. He had 3, but 2 with asthma. I got 10 more years at AT&T. I'm going to keep the job. At the time, I didn't realize the impact. I just was really pissed that we were moving from Arizona to North Carolina. I'm like, what the hell is a North Carolina? I had to move there. It was just different. People had shoebacker and overalls and all kinds of goodies on. I did not fit in North Carolina. And I hated it for the first year. I struggled with it. I got in fights. I went to 5 high schools. Great grades, never started a fight. They didn't like me. I didn't like them. Pretty simple. And I'm a fighter. So I'm like, hey, where do we line up? And so But I remember I didn't even know what a trailer park was, and I lived in a trailer park. I remember going to school and wearing fake Tommy Hilfigers and people making fun of me for wearing fake Tommy Hilfigers. I don't know what it's like for someone to treat me less than for my race or my gender. But I can tell you I know what it's like for them to treat me less because I didn't have anything. Because we lived in a trailer. I can tell you we weren't invited to parties because where we lived. I can tell you I wasn't able to hang out with certain kids because I didn't have the right clothes or money and where I lived. I can tell you when I met my wife, I met her when she was 14 and I was 15. Her family, her mom, did not like me because I lived in a trailer park. Her mom and her sister would say things like, oh, he'd stick his feet out of his house and move his house like the Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. I remember having this sick motivation, feeling like my parents failed and I wanted to use this failure. And they didn't fail, they struggled. There's a difference. They struggled. And I remember sitting around the table playing gin rummy with my mom and some friends. Anybody play gin rummy here? Love gin rummy. Spades, I'm like, whatever. And I told my mom at the time, she's like, what are you gonna do when you grow up? And I had my late friend Benji there. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy a Winnebago, I'm gonna own a business. I'm gonna buy a Winnebago and I'm gonna travel the entire United States with all the money I can handle. She's like, why are you gonna do that? And I said, because when the unicorn comes by, Mom, I'm gonna jump on it, not like Dad. So when I say, you learn from your parents, I got my work ethic from them. But my dad played to not lose. He didn't play to win. He played to not lose. And when we own a business, sometimes we play scared. And we play to not lose. We play too safe. And I've got news on you. I've got news for you. If you don't bet on you, nobody else is going to bet on you. You think you raise capital if you ain't bet on you? Hell no. You think someone's going to invest in your business and want to grow in your business with you? If you can't bet on you, no. So you can do all the great work in the world. And if you're okay just being here, that's okay. Most of the world is okay being average. But I heard people talking about fire in their belly earlier, and I knew I had fire in my belly. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be the same. I don't want to go in with the herd of sheep. I want to be a fucking lion. I want to be the one who runs the jungle. I want to be the one who dictates where and what we do in life and the people around me and impact this world and elevate people to make a difference. I was not going to take a chance to play it safe in life. Now, I suck at poker and I play a shit ton of it. Okay? But I will tell you this, scared money don't make money. And if you don't bet on yourself and you don't go all in, and I didn't sell that house and put it into that business, we wouldn't have built $1 billion company. And I left a lot of chips on the table. I didn't take distributions out since 2018, except tax distributions. What does that mean? That means I probably left cash-wise over $100 million in the business just to grow and sell it. Do I have regrets? Yeah, I mean, it makes you sick in your stomach. But I don't look backwards. I look forwards and I go, well, damn it, these next companies, I'm gonna take half and leave half in. So half scared money don't make money. But I gotta get something to get paid. All right, either way. But you gotta be all in on yourself. When people open a business, they're like, I just wanna be rich. Wrong answer. You better get used to eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches. You better get used to getting paid the least amount of money over everybody else in your company or you ain't gonna grow it. You're gonna put in all the hours and not get anything or it won't grow. Because if you want people to believe in you, you've got to believe in yourself and you got to put it all on the table. And I got that from my dad. I love my parents very much. Their work ethic was fantastic. But my dad is a play it safe, play to not lose type person. I'm the complete opposite because I saw their struggles. I had to help him deliver papers at night and then go to school on top of him working. I saw that. I was like, I don't want that. Who the hell wants that? If I see opportunity, I'm going. I wanted to have that lion mentality. And that's the real difference between, playing it safe and not playing it safe. And don't be held hostage. This is a chapter in my book I love because as you're building a business or you're in a relationship, sometimes you get handcuffed to the situation or the person. How many times you build a company and you got this awesome salesperson, but then they kind of dictate what they get paid or they'll leave. And if they leave, you're in trouble. I know when I own home security companies and home automation companies, I get these top salespeople that were like, well, you better pay me a higher multiple or I'm leaving. Here I am held hostage to them. I got to pay them more, and I got to pay them more. Or I'm held hostage to not know what EBITDA was. Or I'm held hostage in a relationship. How many of us have been there where you're in this relationship? This doesn't even have to apply to business. You could be held hostage to family members that are blood related to you, that make the situation at home uncomfortable, and you feel like you're held hostage because you're blood related to them. That they have to come around, that they have to see your kids, that they have to be around, even though they're disrespectful to maybe you, your spouse. I mean, everybody goes through this. Nobody's life's perfect. I know we all are on social media and it's like, my life is perfect. No. Everybody's got problems. That's what I know. And the more perfect they put online, the more fucked up they are at home. That's a fact. That's a fact. Trust me. They look great. Oh my God, he did what? She went where? Oh, like, we've seen the stories. Okay? I will tell you though, you don't have to be held hostage in a relationship. As much as I just mentioned I love my parents, there was a time they were super disrespectful to my wife. Super disrespectful. And that was hard for me, because when my son was born, they didn't see my son until he was almost 1. Because I had to draw a line. I had to create boundaries. You know, I had to do that, you know, running a company, being a father, being a husband. And now I've got to like, oh shit, my parents can't come around. Because they didn't know the boundaries. Does that make them bad people? At the time, maybe, but no. But you can't put yourself in that position to be held hostage where people make comments like, I'm their grandmother, I'm allowed to see them. I'm your brother, I'm allowed to do this. I'm your dad, I said so. I'm your cousin, this. Guys, I've got closer people that I'm not blood related to than my own brother. And I hate saying that. But they're my brothers, because a relationship is a give and take. It's not a take-take and it's not a give-give. It's a give and it's a take. And those that make you better in life, and those that care to make you better and want to be there to pick up the pieces or reach out to you when you're struggling in life and you don't know where you're going, that's family. Doesn't matter if you're blood related. Shit, I got a tattoo of a tomahawk because my mom told me her grandpa was full American Cherokee Indian. I got 0 American Cherokee Indian in me. Me23.com told the truth. I said, Mom, you lied. No, that's what I told. He lied. Or he ain't your grandpa. Something's wrong. But I got a tattoo that I'm done. I'm in trouble. Like, this is bad. I got 0. I thought I'd have some cool shit in me. I got nothing cool. 0 cool in me. 0. I got the basic BS. I was very disappointed. I was like, can we redo the test? I think they got the wrong person. I feel like I'm way better than this. And I wasn't. But the point is life gets like that. And we get held hostage in business where, I told you, the EBITDA story. There's been times where I kept my relationship with certain people in my business that we outgrew and I should have moved on from. And I fell hostage to that. I fell hostage to keeping it personal. We just heard Dan and Ivan talk about how you can't be personal about things. I've been there before. I'm sure you guys have been there before. Where you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt that person. I like that person. I don't want to let them go. You got to think of the brand. You got to think of the masses of everybody, not the one. And I started to evolve as a CEO in multiple companies where I got better at that. I understood that more, where I was almost unapproachable. And people would be like, he just has no emotion. I do have emotion. It's just when I walk into the door of business, I don't. When I get back in my car, I might feel bad. But I can't do it there. When COVID happened, I couldn't show fear to my employees. We had about 1,500 employees when this happened. We stayed open. We're an essential company. We put everything in what we were supposed to in place, but I couldn't show them I was scared. I was going to the offices, showing them, it's okay. We got plastic things that were good. Because if I showed fear, guess what happened? They would have quit. They wouldn't have worked. And we had Lucy, who still had to buy diapers for her kid, or Mark, who had to pay power and get groceries. We didn't know there was going to be government checks thrown around like candy. We didn't know. We stayed open, and customers still wanted our product. And to me, you can't be held hostage to the situation.